It's been a difficult week, as you can imagine, for the royals. And as I pointed out to you before, it's at this time of year when basically if you want to put a book out, you want to get some sensational headlines, then this is the period to do it. And it's worked. We're talking, of course, about the book regarding the former royal known as the Duke of York, Prince Andrew. And it goes without saying, really, that he is now, well, disgraced. It's an awful situation to be in. But as we saw, really, his late mother, Queen Elizabeth, our Queen, definitely stood by him, insisting, of course, that he has escort her on one of her very final visits to Westminster Abbey, even though at the time, lots of people were against it. The bigger story now behind the scenes isn't really just, all about where does Prince Andrew now fit in the new modernised monarchy. But more importantly, where does the former royals known as Meghan Markle and Prince Harry fit in moving forward? And there's one man that's very, very keen to make sure they don't fit in at all. That is, of course, the royal known as His Royal Highness, the Prince of Wales, Prince William. As ever, let me explain. Morning, good to see you, chums. Thank you so much for joining me today. Nice to have your company. And by the way, thank you for supporting the video with, of course, we'll have a wave with that horrific story about the food delivery bags. I'm glad you enjoyed it in the wrong wave, but it's when I saw it, I just thought I couldn't believe it, and you think, absolutely. And I remember seeing a program like that many years ago about some of the food stalls that were in Soho Market at the time. And they put some cameras in, afterwards. Oh, goodness, yeah, you'd never buy anything from these places again. So thank you for the support on that. It's vital to get that sort of thing out there. And all the big companies like the Just Eats, the Uber Eats, Deliveroo really are responsible. They hire these people, and what happens to those bags definitely is their responsibility. If you haven't seen it as ever, it's up free and always ready to view. Let's get back to your royal story of the day. Prince William is definitely going to be shaping up to a man who really you wouldn't want to cross. Now, as you can imagine, over in Montecito, both Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are absolutely delighted that this causes a lot of friction and controversy between His Majesty the King and his eldest son. I mean, it must have been very difficult when you think for Prince Harry to be in the coronation, congregation and see his elder brother literally, pledge his allegiance to his father, knowing that Harry could have been part of that at one point. But he gave it all up, like the story goes, for the woman that he loves. But Harry and Meghan really should not become that complacent or indeed too smug. I can tell you from excellent sources that William is definitely a man who will not be living through the same sort of problems. You see, the problem that William has is he wants to modernise the monarchy in and around His Majesty the King. And we're seeing him taking on more and more effective roles as the years go on, and literally as the months go on. Let's not forget William's meeting with the President of the United States, President Trump, over in Paris last November was a big pivotal moment. Whichever you look at it, there is William solo meeting the President of the biggest country in the world and the most powerful to boot. This was significant. One, of course, that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle really found distasteful, given the fact that a couple of weeks later, the President of the United States says, well, she's terrible. You couldn't really put it in more finer terms. But where does this leave, literally, Harry, Meghan, and the Duke of York, Prince Andrew? Well, I can tell you that there are sort of machineries behind the scenes that are working for some new rules and some new ways forward to make sure that all titles with these people will be strict. Now, this is going to be very, very difficult. Think about this. You've got Princess Eugenie and Princess Beatrice that have now just been welcomed back in, if you like, as sort of part working royals. It does cause friction. There is friction between both Beatrice, Eugenie and William, and by default, of course, Catherine, the Princess of Wales. But William's insistent that this is the way forward if the monarchy needs to survive. The problem that William has is that where he goes anywhere, he knows, according to an excellent source, that behind the scenes, people really just want to ask him about family infighting and the negativity that all three have brought the British monarchy. His Majesty the King still literally, having weekly treatment for his cancer. Well, obviously you can't expect him, even though many do, to take, control of this situation. William is. Now, where does it go from here? Well, I can tell you that, more than anything, William would very much like, first and foremost, to see the titles and anything associated with Meghan and Harry totally removed. Now, this really upset him when it was, discovered, emerged, whichever you want to look at it, that Meghan privately was using the HRH title, even though she'd said at the time, along with Harry, in front of the Queen, that she wouldn't do so. If there was a turning point for William to decide that this needs knocking on the head, then that was well and truly it. As for Prince Andrew, the Duke of York, he's going to be far easier to deal with. He's already virtually a recluse, but William would like it further, simply that by his time, clearly, even family events he may now not be invited to. So don't underestimate the Prince of Wales. He may have a nice smiley face with beautiful blue eyes, but according to a source behind the scenes, he's more ruthless and more directional than anybody can first imagine. If Meghan and Harry thought this was going to be an easier time in the future, well then even Harry, with all the fudge going around his head, must realise, in fact, his time is definitely limited. None more so under, of course, the direction of the Prince of Wales. It's a developing story. When I know more, you'll know more. Neil Sean in the very heart of Yorkshire.